What if someone handed you a few extra hours every single day? Time is the one thing we all wish we had more of, but it's slipping away right in front of our faces. This chart breaks down a modern daily habit. On average, adults spend 4 hours and 37 minutes a day looking at their smartphones. Out of that block, 2 hours and 23 minutes go straight to social media alone. Think about how a normal morning starts. The alarm goes off, and before your feet even touch the floor, you're reaching for the phone to check texts, emails, or the latest posts. Then those quick checks bleed into the rest of the day. You pull it out at breakfast, waiting in line for coffee, or sitting between classes. These moments feel like harmless filler, but they form a steady pattern. By the time the sun goes down, these small gaps have added up to a significant portion of our waking lives, spent in a passive, default routine. Researchers in Switzerland looked closely at this habit in young adults. They found that people who spent the most time on their phones reported higher rates of social anxiety, depression, and trouble holding their attention on tasks. But here is an interesting twist. This graph plots overall well-being against screen time. If you drop your phone use to absolute zero, well-being actually goes down too. The healthiest people land right here in the middle, using their devices moderately and intentionally. When you try to react to every single buzz or ding all day long, you put your brain into a state called continuous partial attention. Your focus is constantly divided, which makes it incredibly hard to relax. That lack of relaxation hits hard at night. If you're lying in the dark scrolling through a feed, the light and the mental stimulation actively fight your body's attempt to power down. Let's look at the actual math, based on a review of over 30 studies. This equation shows the trade-off. For every extra hour you spend on a screen right before bed, you lose roughly 15 to 25 minutes of real sleep. Compulsive, unstructured phone use creates a cycle. It keeps the mind in a state of constant reaction, which erodes your ability to focus during the day and denies you the rest you need at night. So, what is the alternative? It turns out that focusing on a single long story, a process called deep reading, does the exact opposite of that scattered screen time, and you don't have to read for hours to feel the difference. Researchers at the University of Sussex wanted to see exactly how fast reading affects the human body. This bar chart compares common ways to unwind. The researchers tested drinking tea, listening to music, going for a walk, and reading a book. Reading easily took the top spot, dropping stress levels by 68% in just 6 minutes. This habit also correlates with a measurable survival advantage. Yale researchers followed over 3,000 adults for 12 years and found that regular book readers lived an average of 2 years longer than non-readers. Inside the brain, the evidence is just as clear. Scans from Emory University show that following a narrative in a novel physically strengthens the networks your brain uses to process language. While an endless feed of short videos trains your brain to scatter its attention, sitting down with a book is a genuine workout. It builds your ability to empathize, sharpens your mind, and actually supports a longer life. You don't have to toss your smartphone in the garbage to get these benefits. The trick is making a few deliberate changes to how you spend your free moments. A great place to start is your bedtime routine. Try trading the last 20 to 30 minutes of phone time for a few pages of a book. It immediately protects your sleep cycle and lowers your stress right before you close your eyes. Next, take a physical book or an e-reader with you during the day. When you're sitting on the bus or waiting for an appointment, reach for the story instead of your default social media apps. If you want to see where your time is actually going, turn on your phone's screen time tracker for just 1 week. Seeing that total number is often enough to make you pause before you open an app. And remember, the stress relief only happens if you are genuinely engaged. Pick a story you actually want to get lost in, not something that feels like homework you have to power through. Take a second to think about it. How many hours did your screen take up today? And when was the last time you read the final page of a good book? You have the power to decide where your attention goes. Your ability to focus, rest, and think clearly tomorrow is built directly by the small choices you make tonight.